You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 109. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action today. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and I'm excited to share my stories and life lessons with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac. Today's episode is brought to you by Small Business Saturday. November 27th is Small Business Saturday, and I encourage you to support the small businesses you know, including mine. Shameless plug here, but I want you to be on the lookout for a special offer I'll be promoting for Small Business Saturday. It'll be an opportunity for you to get a jump start on your 2022 goals when it comes to pitching yourself. Knowing that the end of November is around the corner means that 2021 is starting to wind down, and many of us are starting to look at the year ahead. As a business owner, I'm looking at what goals I want to accomplish and how I'm going to do that. As a publicist, part of my planning also includes the strategy for my clients and what will be pitched when. This brings me to today's topic and the question of, are you ready for a PR strategy in your business? As a business owner and expert, you're probably saying, yes, I sure am. Let's start landing interviews and contributing to articles. But I'm here to tell you that it's not that easy. And I'm not just talking about PR not happening overnight. There's an entire strategy behind getting ready for a PR strategy. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 tips to ensure that you're ready for PR in your business. These are all things that you can start working on this week. And although in some areas you might benefit from outside help, I think you can certainly start them on your own. I'm also going to give you some referrals for amazing humans who can help you with some of these steps, and you can find their website links in the show notes. Speaking of websites, this is a perfect place to start. See what I did there? Is your website up and running? Is it functional, easy to click through? And can people understand what it is you do? Is it on brand? Meaning, does it truly represent you? Here's the honest truth when it comes to PR. You have to exist. You have to be online and searchable in order to land interviews and features. If someone can't find you, then how are you actually the expert in your field? Your website doesn't have to be super fancy. And in fact, I designed my own site. And if I can do it, honestly, anyone can. There are plenty of templates that can come with Squarespace and WordPress, or you can buy a theme from Etsy and brand it to be your own. There's also plenty of people who do this for a living, and you can simply pay them to have it done. The important thing is to have your website up and running. You should have a home page, an about page that describes who you are, what you do, what your services are, and how you can be contacted. A great way to show your expertise on your website is also with a blog page. I utilize my blog page with the podcast. But I do plan on blogging more about PR and expanding some of the tips and tools I'm offering on Instagram every week. Your goal should be at least 2 blog posts a month, but 4 would be even better. I'm sure that like me, you're already offering up value in your content, so why not expand just a bit more on it and add a photo? It's truly as simple as that. Now, I've mentioned this before, but it's my second tip today for getting PR ready. You should have a press or media page on your website with your bio, headshots, expert topic, a really who's who simply about yourself. It should also include links to where you've been interviewed or featured. You're welcome to check mine out, and I know I actually need to update mine with more of my recent interviews, so this is my reminder to get more recent. This is valuable because it allows someone to go to one place to learn all they need to know about you. Now, although I'm a fan of stalking and researching, it's so much easier to head to a single source to find out all you need to know about a person. Having links to your interviews is also a fantastic way to show podcast hosts and the media that you'll be sharing the content they produce that includes you. You have no idea how treasured a link back means to people in the media and to podcast hosts. It's a big deal that you should not overlook. It should also be part of your overall PR process and strategy. If you're not sharing where you've been featured, then what's the point in working to get featured? This actually leads me to my third tip, which is around social media. Do you have it? Are you on a couple of platforms? And by on it, I mean, do you have more than a username with your profile picture? As much as many of us would like to avoid social media at times, it's still a must-have. After all, if you don't have social media, do you even exist? Okay, yes, you do exist. But when it comes to getting publicity, you need to be on social media. Your publicist isn't going to be the only one who stalks you. Journalists and podcast hosts are going to want to see what kind of content you're putting out into the world and what kind of following you have. Yes, it counts. No, it's not the end-all, be-all, and no, you don't need thousands of followers. I've landed amazing press opportunities for clients who have a couple hundred followers. The fact is that people are on social media, posting, engaging, and are current. When we talk about PR and social media, this is a great time to remind you to also be posting about your interviews. And I'm definitely not talking about just throwing them up in your stories for 24 hours. That, friends, is plain laziness. Truth time. I don't understand people who purposefully are landing interviews and media features, but then leave them to die instead of sharing them and repurposing them. This is a complete waste of money and time. Why are you paying a publicist to pitch you if you aren't going to utilize the press you receive? You should be posting this content on your website, in your feed, sharing it on LinkedIn, Twitter, and a whole host of other platforms. This is the same strategy that I'm a proponent of when it comes to hosting your own show. Don't be a one and done type of person. As someone who hates repeating herself, just ask my kids, this is one time that I'm a big fan of it. If you need some expert help on getting your social media set up, especially on Instagram, reach out to Meredith Raber. She is not only a wonderful person and human, but she does incredible hashtag research and engagement. You can also rest assured that I'm working on a process and system to help you figure out how to repurpose your interviews, and you will see it in the coming months. This is actually step 4 when it comes to being ready for PR, knowing when and where to post your interviews. You're going to increase your own visibility and expertise level by promoting where you've been. Look, I get it. You don't want to come off as that person who only self-promotes. Let's stop with that type of mindset. By promoting the interviews you've done, you're actually sharing knowledge and expertise with people who need it. You're thanking your host or journalist for having you on, which also boosts their credibility. Get in the mindset in which promoting an interview isn't about you tooting your own horn. It's you showing gratitude as well as knowledge to those who need and deserve it. It's a way of being selfless and not selfish. As we discuss having a process for maximizing your visibility by sharing your interviews, we also need to discuss the systems and processes you have in place for your business. This is something that you and only you will be able to confirm you have set up and that they are running smoothly. Of course, I have a resource for this if you need to work on your systems and processes, and that's the incredible Crista Grasso, who's also been a guest on this show. Her signature method, Simplify to Scale, is something everyone who wants to grow their business should be following. Here's the thing. When you add PR to your toolkit of visibility and growth strategy, you're going to see an increase in business, an increase in email addresses, clients, overall work. Are you ready for all of that? I have literally had clients say they are overwhelmed by all of the new business they've gotten, and now they're finding it hard to find time for more podcast interviews. Don't let that be you. Embrace the increase in business, but don't let it overrun you and take more from you. If you have systems and processes in place to scale your business, then you are going to be overly prepared for what happens once you execute a great PR strategy. My dear friend and the other MG of PR, Michelle Garrett, wrote an article that was published just as I was creating this episode, and it's also on getting PR ready. Great minds, we think alike. Michelle writes about the 10 questions you should ask yourself to find out if you're PR ready. Some of them I actually covered, but questions that she mentions that I love include, are your expectations realistic? PR is not guaranteed and it doesn't happen overnight. Can you let go? When we turn over quotes in a story to the media, it's then in their hands. We can't ask to review it before it goes live. We can't ask them to edit it after the fact. It's out of our control, and you have to be okay with that. Can you embrace opportunities when they come? You have to be ready to say yes to an interview when it comes. You can't take days or weeks to decide, and the same goes for written content. Stick to what the journalist asked for, commit to the interview time, and make yourself available. These tips and questions are all incredible things for you to think about as you contemplate implementing a PR strategy in the near future. Your strategy can be for just podcasts or for a mix of different types of media. There are a lot of options, and it's not one size fits all. If you have questions about PR or podcast pitching, please send me a DM or an email. I'm always more than happy to chat with you, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. So until next week, my friends, stay consistent, promote yourself, and share your expertise.